class today. We're not doing IELTS, but obviously we have a new IELTS school. If anyone is interested in IELTS, please let us know. Or if you have any friends studying IELTS, please let us know. But today is a reading class, and we're going to have two classes. So today we'll be reading part A, and tomorrow we'll also be reading part A. Today we're just going to focus on finding the main idea. So we will not practice any questions. Tomorrow, though, we'll do a full test. All right, so I hope that makes sense. So today, no testing, but just practicing something very important. Tomorrow, we're going to do the full test. So I'm going to start the recording now to the cloud, and I'll introduce this class. Here we go. Okay, so this is OET reading. We're looking at part A, and we're going to look at something called finding the main idea. I'll explain more in a second. The first thing to do is just to tell you specifically what the kind of focus for today's class is. And I usually do that by just sharing my screen and showing you three things. Okay, so we'll start this class with a review. Oops. We'll start with a review of basically, I suppose, part A technique. Okay, then after we finish that, we're going to look at technique for finding main ideas, and then we're going to practice that together. All right, tomorrow you'll also have a chance to practice this as well, because tomorrow we will do a mock test all together. Okay, so that's basically what we're trying to achieve in these next 2 days. On Thursday you will have Paul, and he'll be doing reading part B. Okay, so let's get started. Review of part A technique. If you've watched the videos, many of you guys will know this. So just try and answer the questions as quickly as possible. Can we start with Esther or Abrar? Can you say hello?
Hi.
Hey
Hello.
there. So Abrar, so let's talk about techniques. Okay, we'll talk about steps. How many steps do we recommend?
Part A, 2, I think.
2 steps. Okay,
Yes.
Guys, is this the SET technique?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so step 1 is actually very useful, because when it comes to keywords, you have keywords in step 1 and you have keywords in step 2. We need to separate this idea. Okay, so step 1, Farid, could you say hello, or Gabriella, or if we could have Vandana? What are we doing in step 1? So this is part A reading.
Analyze the text.
Yeah, there we go. So we're going to analyze the texts. And the key thing here is timings. So how much time should we spend analyzing the texts?
About 90 minutes.
2 minutes. Yes.
90 seconds.
30 seconds for
I'm going to say
text.
90 to... well,
90 to 2 minutes.
Yeah, so let's just say 1.5 to 2 minutes. Okay. Let's just say maximum 2 minutes.
Okay.
Some of you guys can do this faster, I promise, if you practice. Okay, so this is the first point. Don't start doing the questions immediately. If you're new to OET, never done OET reading part A, you've got to spend a little bit of time analyzing the text. Everyone, how many texts are there in reading part A? Easy.
4.
We usually have A, we have B, we have C, and of course
D.
Okay, so that's step 1. You're going to spend maximum of 2 minutes. Probably better would be like 90 seconds. Step 2, Andrea or Adnan, what are we doing in step 2?
Answer questions.
We're answering. Okay, and in terms of answering, how much time do we have?
13.
Approximately.
13 minutes.
About, yeah.
15.
Oh,
Depends on how much time you can save in step 1, all right? But you need to make sure that step 1 is done well. This has to be done in a good way. Otherwise, step 2 will take much longer than you think, all right? So what are we trying to do in step 1? What does analyze mean here? If I could speak to Bogdan or Abdullah, you're new, sir. Yulia, what do I mean by analyze?
To find the main idea. What is the text telling me?
So we want main idea. Okay, that's the most important one. But also another way kind of the opposite way. Anyone? Analyze key words.
Word.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to focus on keywords today. We'll talk a bit more about this tomorrow if you want. We're just going to focus on main idea today. And we're going to try and do some practice. All right. But just so we have a good idea of what's going on, right? So step one, we're finding the main idea. Step two, we answer the questions. How do we answer the questions? Norzad, let's say the question says, what should we prescribe children under 9? How do I answer that question in OET reading? Norzad, or we could try Bogdan, we could try Esther, Elizabeth.
Hello,
Hello. So who's that? Sorry, I didn't see the name.
Esther.
Esther, sorry, I should have recognized your voice there. Esther, so for step two, how do I do it?
So step one, we made mention of analyzing the text and putting down something. Maybe you get the main idea of each paragraph or each text. So you know that with this test, this is what I'll find here. This is what I did. This is what I'll find when it comes to symptom management or any other thing.
I've got my main ideas, right? We'll talk about that in a minute. But when we imagine we already have the main ideas, what do we do to get the answer?
So I'll use the keyword in the question to find that in the text to get the answer.
So we're going to have a keyword, okay?
Yeah.
Keywords in step two is different from step one, guys, okay? Keyword, we find, for example, here, what's a good keyword, guys? Anyone?
Underline.
Prescribe.
So easy, isn't it, right? Under 9, right? So let's imagine that we already found the main idea, and the main idea of text B is medicine. Do you think that I should look in text B for the answer, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why?
Prescribe.
Right? And this is how it works. This is how reading part A works. You can match the question to the main idea, usually, okay? So let's imagine, okay, I know that I'm going to look in medicine B because this is prescribe, all right? And I know I'm going to look for a key word. So let's imagine I find here, under 9, right? So what do we call it when we read for specific words, guys? Does anyone know?
Answer area.
Yeah.
What do we call the type of reading where we're like
Scanning.
Skimming.
scanning, right? So you're going to scan in the test. You're going to scan in a kind of an S shape, right? And you find, oh, here it is. Here's under 9. All right. Now, of course, sometimes we need to talk about synonyms here. And remember, yesterday we studied some synonyms. I'll talk more about synonyms tomorrow. Okay. But let's say I find under 9. Okay. Is that the answer? No, it's in the question.
No.
Right?
No.
So how do we get wise? How do I actually get the answer? There's another thing I need to do.
The answer is near the under 9. You should find the medicine.
Yeah, well, what is medicine? What do we call that in this school? What is medicine?
Category.
What we call category. Okay. So some of you will do this automatically, but we do this in a very systematic way, right? When you read this question, you have to think about what the category of answer is. All right. And Wise, you're saying that the category of answer must be medicine. Why do you say that?
Because in the question we have prescribe.
Prescribe, right? So what if the question said this, guys? What should you, I'm trying to think of a good example here. What should you provide to a patient with poor mobility?
Treatment is the category.
Equipment.
It could be treatment, it could be equipment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or management.
Yeah, wheelchair.
Mobility, maybe walking stick or something,
Walking stick.
right? Or let's say that it says something like this. How will a patient with diabetes present?
Sign and
Sign and
symptom.
symptom.
Signs and symptoms.
Your category, okay? So you need to, in step 2, you need to think about the category of information that you want. And this is really, really useful because it means that you don't have to remember the question, right? Does anyone here ever forget the question? You
Yes.
find the answer? That happens to me as well. You find the answer, you scan, you find the answer. Oh, what was the question? Right? You don't need the question. All you need to remember is I need to find an example of that. Right? The answer will be an example of medicine. Okay, so this is the technique that we teach at SET. And I'll be demonstrating this technique to you guys tomorrow. It's very important to get this right because it's a very difficult part of the exam. Does anyone have any general questions about the technique? Please feel free, put your hand up if you want. If you have any general questions so far. Okay. Now, in this class, I'm just going to focus on what I consider to be the most important thing in step one. What is the most important thing in step one?
Idea.
Yeah, right. Andrea, why is this so vital and significant and important?
You save time.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look, prescribe, medicine. It's giving you the answer, right? It's showing you which text. What happens if we don't have the main idea? Let's imagine that I don't know.
Will confuse.
Well, I have to read text A, I have to read text B, I have to read text C, I have to read text
We waste time.
wasting lots and lots of time. But as soon as we have the main idea, maybe you can read one or two texts. Okay, so this is why main idea is so important. Now, let's think about timings for the main idea. How long should I spend trying to find the main idea? Let's ask Gabriella or Jamuna, Jaspreet.
Yes, some seconds, because we have some texts in which we have already a title.
Exactly, right? So if there is already a title, how long?
2 seconds.
2, 3, yeah, let's say maximum like 5 seconds, something like that. Well, you can get keywords as well. Let's say maximum 10 seconds. Okay. Does that make sense, everyone, by title? What do we mean by title?
Heading.
Heading. Look, let's imagine here, inside the text it says diagnosis here, underline, bold. If you have that, is it difficult to find the main idea?
No.
Really? Okay, you just see this and you think, this text is about diagnosis. Okay, write that down. Guys, you should write down the main ideas. Does everyone do that?
Yeah.
Write it down, because
One side of the paper, yeah.
exactly, because in the exam you're going to feel so nervous and stressed. You need to have it written down somewhere.
It really works.
Yeah.
Really.
Thank you, Farag. I appreciate that.
Sorry,
Now,
I
what
have
happens
question.
if we don't have a heading? What are we going to do? How long should we spend?
20 seconds.
I'm going to say
No, how much
30 to 45
seconds?
seconds. Right.
Yeah.
Most of your time in step one should be spent. Class today, we're not doing IELTS. Should be spent on texts with no headings. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Because that is the problem of main ideas. It's not headings. Okay, let me show you an example of this. I'm going to share my screen and just show you a practice test. You've all seen this before, probably. But I just want to sort of show you this. It's so simple. One moment. Okay, let's look at practice test 2. Can everyone see this here?
Yeah.
All right, so if we look at this, just a random, I did not choose this one on purpose, just chose the first thing I could find. Does this one have a heading, guys?
No.
No.
No, right? Is it easy to, everyone, is it easy to find the main idea here? Not really,
No.
right? Okay, what about this one, text B?
Yeah.
It has. Yeah.
Everyone, what's the main idea here? Everyone.
Risk.
It's
Risk.
risk, right? Tetanus risk. So this is what we're saying. If you've got a heading, it's really easy to get the main idea. If you don't, it's very difficult. Okay, spend most of your time, this is kind of like my new advice, spend most of our time on the ones that do not have headings. Okay. Now, how many will probably not have a heading? You guys can tell me. You guys know better than me. How
Maybe
many?
Two.
So
Two. Has anyone ever had three texts with no heading in an
No,
exam?
no. I have.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, yeah.
So usually two texts will have no heading and two texts will have headings. Okay, so maximum two. Sometimes you have three headings. Okay, so let's talk about this problem then. If there's no heading, how do we get the main idea? What do we do? So Adnan, could you say hello, sir?
Yeah, hello.
If no heading, okay, how do we get the main idea?
We can start to read the first and second sentences, and we can pick the main idea from the first and second sentences.
So I would say first line, yeah. Maybe if you want to do a second one, if you're fast. Of each paragraph, Adnan, or only one paragraph?
For the unheading paragraph.
I would say of each para.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's three paragraphs, read three first lines. Okay.
Yeah, with the first paragraph.
I think all of the paragraphs. Okay. Just to show you an example here. For this, I would read this sentence and this sentence. Maybe this one as well. Right? Maybe even this one.
Oh, yeah.
So first sentence of every paragraph. Is there another way to get a main idea, guys?
repeated word.
Looking for repeated words. Okay, so looking for repeated words. Is there any other way?
Thematic.
Thematic words.
Michelle, could you say hello? Michelle, are you there?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
They're saying thematic words. What is a thematic word?
That's that's the all of words that have one category.
Yeah, could you give me an example of thematic words?
Like fever, cough, the
Fever,
all of
cough,
us.
headache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Headaches, sore throat.
So it's going to be symptoms. Like, let me give you other examples, guys. Look, thematic words.
Sorry.
No, that was very good. Cup, table.
Furniture.
Very nice. You get from two. All right. What about this, guys? Give me the theme. Okay. Sandwich, pizza,
Food.
burgers,
Food.
chips.
Food.
Fast food.
Drinking food.
Let me give you
Junk
another
food.
one. Let me give you another one. Car, train, automobile, bike, skateboard.
Transportation.
Transportation.
Okay, so
Africa,
theme is
Asia.
when all of the words have the same kind of idea behind them. So for the most easy one would be cat, dog, fish. Everyone?
Animals.
Animals.
Okay. Now repeated words, I'm sure we all understand what that means. If you see cat, 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 what's the main idea? Probably cat, right? And the first line of each paragraph, we're talking about reading, the first line here, okay? Of each one as well. These are the three ways that you can use to get the main idea. And in this class, we're going to practice doing it. I have made 5 texts, new texts that you've never seen before, and we will practice getting the main idea. Look, let me show you. Here's one I made for you, okay? So that's what we're trying to do in this class, but I just want to give you an example here. So everyone, read the first line of this paragraph. Look, tetanus is a severe disease that can result in serious health, illness, and death, okay? A person may have a fever and sometimes develop abnormal heart rhythms. There is no specific diagnostic laboratory test. What is the main idea here, guys?
Symptoms.
Symptoms and test.
Someone said tetanus. Who said tetanus?
Me.
It's all of
So Fatima,
Definition of
Yes.
all of the texts are about tetanus, Fatima, right? So if I think, okay, my main idea is tetanus, is that helping me?
No.
Not, because
No.
text A is tetanus, text B is tetanus, text C is tetanus, text D is tetanus. Okay. Why are we trying to get the main ideas? Abdullah, could you say hello again, sir? Or Ibrahim, Ismail? Why do we want the main idea?
Yes, it will help us to find answers easy.
Why does it help us? Why
Yeah.
does it help us?
Because we will go to the specific part
Go
or
to the
specific,
correct.
paragraph.
Go
We
to the
go to
correct.
the specific place.
Yeah.
So this helps us, guys. So I always say this helps to differentiate the texts. What does that mean, guys? Differentiate.
Choose one.
To choose. No, it doesn't mean to shoot. Differentiate means to
Right.
Have the right one.
separate. right?
Separate.
And when you can
Correct.
separate them, you can find the answer quicker. Okay. So tetanus, no, that's not a good main idea here. All right. What about repeated words? Does anyone see any repeated words here?
Symptoms and test.
Yeah, I don't want the answer, Yulia. I just want repeated words. Do you see any repeated words?
Muscle contraction, rigidity, difficulty.
Are these repeated words or thematic? They're not
Thematic. Thematic.
Guys, I have the repeated word again of tetanus, right?
Yes.
So maybe the first line and the repeated is not helping me. Maybe in this example, the best is thematic. Why is thematic the best way here? What's the main idea?
Clinic picture of
Symptoms.
Well, it's symptoms, right? So what I'm saying to you guys is you use all of these three ways, try them all together, do them together, but sometimes they will not all help you, right? In this case, thematic words is how you get the main idea. The main idea here is, of course, symptoms, right? Something like that. But sometimes thematic words is not useful. Sometimes the first sentence is better. It just depends on the situation. Is that clear, guys? Use all three of these ways. Okay. Now, another key point here is this, before we start practicing. Jamuna, could you say hello? Or Kai, Layla?
Hello.
How many main ideas are there here? Do you think it's only symptoms? What do you think, guys?
More than one.
I think this is about symptoms, isn't it?
3,
Right?
at least.
But is this about
Complication.
Yeah.
Complication.
Now, here's the key question. Do I have time to find every single main idea in the text?
No.
No.
What I do, you can do whatever you want. You can choose your technique. But what I always do is I just choose 2, right? I'll get the main idea of this, and I'll get the main idea of this, and then I will leave this at the bottom and not try and find it. Instead, what I do is I focus. Anyone?
Keywords.
Keywords. So I don't have time to figure out these last 2 paragraphs, but I'll just underline some keywords. Then I have a chance. Does that make sense, guys? You don't have to get all of the main ideas. Just get 2. Okay? Doesn't matter if you're not covering everything. You don't have time to cover 100%. All right. How much time do we have, guys, to get the main idea with no heading?
45 seconds.
Maximum
30 to 45.
30 to 45 seconds. So we've got to work fast. All right. Does anyone have any questions about this? Feel free to put your microphone on because we're going to practice it now with some real texts. We all good?
Alan?
Yeah. Go on.
Sorry, you said use all the this what we call the thematic and repeated, but also the time. If I just focus on all these 3.
Yes, I think use all 3. Remember, you've got 45 seconds, Fatima, right? Maximum. So you're going to read 1, 2, 3 sentences. You're going to scan for repeated words, tetanus, tetanus, tetanus. And then you're going to try to get some idea of thematic. You can see there's a list of symptoms here, right? Yes, you have to try to do that inside 45 minutes. What else can you do? Is there any other way to get the main idea, guys? Maybe you can teach me. I can't think of any other things we can possibly do. Okay, these are the only 3 ways we have. Okay. Adnan, do you have a question?
Yeah, Alan, to scan for the repeated word, it's like a camera photo to just the rapid discovering of the repeated word, which will be difficult for such human being brains to discover the repeated word in skimming or scanning of the text. What's your advice?
Practice. You've got to practice, and we're going to practice now. So we're going to do some practice, okay? But I'll tell you a story. The first time I did my very first reading part A test, I failed. So I was a teacher at this stage for many years, but I failed OET reading part A first time. Why? Well, I ran out of time. Does anyone else here run out of time before?
Yes.
Yes.
Why did I run out of time? It was
Not
because
experience.
I didn't know
Not
where to find the
practice.
answers. I didn't have the main ideas. So every question, I was reading 4 texts, right? You need to differentiate the text as best you can so that you can save time, all right? So let's practice now. The key thing is to practice. So I have some text for you guys here, and I'm going to give you guys 45 seconds. It's a long time, really, to practice them. And I don't want anyone to shout out the answers. Let's just practice together, okay? Before we start, though, I just want to ask one final question. What are the usual main ideas we are looking for? What do we always see? Gabriella, Ismail, what do we always see? Example.
Symptoms.
Very often,
Treatment.
symptoms. Very often, right? Very, very often. Anything else?
Treatment,
Diagnosis.
Again, very often.
Diagnosis.
What else?
prevention,
Management.
Management. What else?
Tests.
Tests. You also get very often
Diagnosis. Procedures.
medication.
Medication.
Diagnosis. Yeah, you get diagnosis.
Causes.
Definition.
Maybe
Yeah.
causes. You might get causes. Yeah, that's a good one. That's mostly this, isn't it? I can't really think of-
Complication.
complications possibly. Yeah, but these are the usual ones. I think.
Classification.
Yeah, I suppose this is a function actually for me, but often you see types. Yeah, this is actually a function, not a main idea. But yeah, so when we practice now, guys, I want you guys to
And
find.
also like, sorry, Alan, but also like
Okay.
sometimes they put points, this point and that point. What did you call it before?
We can say that would be classification. Is that what you mean?
No, like sometimes we say like this class is from this point to this point. Is like
We like this.
no, it's like the value from 10% to 20% or something like that.
Percentage.
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 Sometimes you're going to get
Statistics, maybe she's talking.
Statistics.
It's probably medication, maybe. You get a lot of numbers in medication.
Okay.
Yeah. Watch my video course and we talk about this in more detail, right? Because this can get very complicated. But usually, guys, I think usually we see these are the ones. Don't you agree? Very often you're seeing symptoms, very often treatment, very often management, tests, maybe advice. Right? These are the most common ones. I'm not saying always you will have this, but very often. So we're going to practice now, and I want you to try and find me something like this from the text. Is everyone here ready to...
Sorry, what's different between tests and diagnosis?
I suppose tests, we use tests for diagnosis, right? But you can diagnose without texts. What I'm saying though, sir, is I'm saying, just to be clear, this is not my opinion, right? I'm saying you usually see this in OET, right? So yes, I understand that inside diagnosis is tests. But what I'm saying is in OET, these are the normal texts you will see, right? So you'll see this now, guys. We're going to practice, and I'm going to give you 45 seconds to find the main idea of a text. Is everyone ready? I'm going to show you a text, find main idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, please don't shout out when you have the answer, don't say anything. Don't type anything. Just wait so everyone has a chance. All right. So here is the first text. I'm going to put it on the screen. And everyone, you have 45 seconds to find the main idea. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now, all texts are about cirrhosis in over 16s. All texts. Start now, please. Fifteen seconds left. Please don't say anything yet. So remember, read the first lines, look for repeated words, look for thematic words. Okay, stop. Now, everyone in the chat box, can you type in, what do you think is the main idea here? Just everyone can type in one word. So Weiss, very fast. Anyone else? Type in what you think. Diagnosis. Someone saying risk factors. Yeah. So it's interesting. Who asked me about difference between tests and diagnosis? You have a perfect example here, don't you? Is this diagnosis or is this something else? Is this test?
It is caution, I think. Actually,
the official title here was diagnosis. Okay.
Yeah.
But if we want to be more specific, we could say this is mostly. What is this mostly?
All of them, it shows that caution again.
Diagnosis.
Tests.
How to diagnose.
But
discuss,
top one
offer, consider, there are imperative. That means
people at high risk.
Instruction to do something.
Like management during.
No, I would not say that. Okay, the main idea is what Wise said straight away. This is diagnosis. I took this from here. But if you wanted to have two main ideas, you could say this is actually test, isn't it? Because test is the same idea. It could be test or diagnosis. And then what is this one?
Risk.
Risk and test.
Can a text have two main ideas? Of course it can have two main ideas. Right? But it just depends on whether you are differentiating. Let me give you an example. Let's say that text 1 is management. Okay, and is tests or diagnosis or risks, is that different from management? Yeah, you've differentiated it already. It doesn't matter in a way. All that matters is that you see the differences. Does that make sense? So this is correct, and this is correct, these two together. Okay. Any questions on this? I will take some questions now if you want to ask me anything.
Alan, I normally, like in this case, I put diagnosis / ELF risk, like I see ELF on the, like mostly.
This is what I mean. So let's imagine the text. Let's say that this is text C here. Okay. All right. So let's say that that's text C. And let's say that, for example, text D is text B here is, let's say that this is medicine. Okay, and let's say that this one here is symptoms. Sapna, are you differentiating or not? That's the question to ask, right? There's no correct answer. It can be diagnosis, or it can be tests, or it can be tests and risks. It just has to be something different from. Yeah?
Yes.
So, but if text D is about risks, is that a problem now? Yeah, that's a problem, right? So you need to make sure you pay attention. If two of the texts are the same in some area, you just need to realize that. You need to understand that, okay?
Okay.
So it's about differentiating the text. Let's try this again. I'm going to give you guys 45 seconds. You're going to look at another text, and you're going to try and find the main idea. Remember, read the first sentence, look for repeated words, look for thematic words. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Okay, focus on this one. This is an easy one. I'm going to give you only 30 seconds. It's easy, right? I'll give you 5 more seconds and then you can type the answer. Type the answer when you're ready. What is this? Okay, so we're saying treatment. Yeah, Sapna, I would say medication is better. If you really want, you can go even more specific here because it's only one type of medication, isn't it? What is the type of medication? Look at the thematic. What is the theme of the medication?
Antibiotics.
I think
I would say it's a management plan.
I think these are all antibiotics. Okay. Who said management plan? Interesting. Why management plan? Why manage?
Because there's treatment.
Yes, sir.
Management. What's the difference between treatment and management? What's the difference? Inside management is treatment, yeah. But what else?
Sir, here the symptoms are mentioned as well, and the age is mentioned, and then the treatment, then the first alternative, then the second. That's
Management,
like a plan.
You don't have a very good connection, Taizab. I can't hear you. I'm really sorry. It's not clear. All right.
Could be physio. Could be.
I think prevention also is under.
Yeah, but inside the idea of management is not just treatment. Although it's not the same word, is it? It means check.
Doses.
Monitoring as well.
And the doses.
It means all of those things. And this is not a management text. Okay. This to me would be treatment, or medicine is also correct, or even better, antibiotics.
Yes.
Michelle, just be careful with your microphone. Should I write down Lyme's disease? What do you guys think?
No.
No.
All of the texts are about Lyme disease, okay? I'm going to show you another one, a bit more difficult now, about Lyme disease again. Again, you'll have 45 seconds. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Go. Oh, sorry, it's not Lyme disease. So it's familial hypercholesteremia. Let me zoom out. Hope you can all see that. All right, start now. 3, 2, 1, go. 45 seconds. Look for repeated words here. The main topic is familial hypercholesteremia, but with repeated words, it's pretty easy. Okay, so that's 30 seconds. Type it in the chat, please, guys. What is the main idea here? Interesting. So we've got treatment. Yeah, I would say treatment. Is it all medication, Hussein? Is everything medication here? Not sure.
No, the statins. The statins for hyperlipidemia.
Okay, so let's say the main idea is treatment. Why? You were very fast there again. Why did you choose treatment? Was it because of?
Because in the first one we have drug therapy. First, this is treatment for adults, and also
therapy. Okay, and treatment. So there's lots of repeated of the word. Is there another main idea as well, kind of repeated here? I see another word that's repeated a lot.
Recommended.
Yeah. So is that a problem, Gabriella, or can we just write down them both?
I think could be advices for therapy.
Yeah, I would say treatment advice, or just, you can just
Something
write
like
down. There's no rules. You can write down whatever you want. I would just write down something like treatment, advice. Even if there's another one, you could write it down. But I think probably this is the best. Remember, we can also underline keywords. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But if I was I would write this down in the exam, write it down like that, and then I would underline things like 50%, LDLC. What else is a good keyword here, guys? Keywords now.
Maybe statin?
Statins, whatever you want, right? Keywords, guys, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Cholesterol.
Whatever you want, right? It's
Pill.
advice tomorrow.
Initial statin therapy.
But the main thing here is, guys, to get the main idea, read the first line, look for repeated words, look for thematic words. Okay. Now, any questions on this? All right, let's do another one. I've done lots of these. These are not official. I know they're not official. I'm just trying to give you something new to see and to think about. Okay. So we're going to look at another one. Again, 45 seconds. Sorry, this one is crazy. Lyme disease. I didn't have a lot of time. Okay. So I just chose ones where I could clearly find a main idea. Okay. So here we go. Or two main ideas or something like that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 45 seconds. It's about Lyme disease again. So don't say Lyme disease. Okay, so that's 30 seconds. You have 15 more seconds. Type in the answer. It's easy, right? It's easy. It's easy. Okay, good. A lot of you are saying advice or preventing. Again, the word you choose doesn't matter so much as the fact it is differentiating. You know, what's the difference between advice and recommendation? Doesn't matter, so long as it's different. Now, normally I would say that advice, the answer here is advice or recommendation. Normally I would say that that's what's called a text function. It's the function of the text. But that distinction doesn't matter today. We're not going to talk about that, all right? Was this one quite easy? What do you guys think? Yeah, but it's not. Yeah. It's not unlike OET. This could be an OET text, right? They have bullet points. They have things like this. How did you know it was advice, guys? How did we find it?
You should be advised not to.
First line of paragraph, right? And then we have
all the way.
This is the theme.
Yeah, keeping both.
Yeah. This is the theme of all of these bullet points. Anytime you see bullet points, you know there will be a theme. You just need to think, what is the idea that connects these bullet points? And then we have the first line here. Many ways. It was easy. Let's try another one. Okay, we're going to try another one. So again, 45 seconds. See if you can find the main idea of this text. This one is from a website, so this is official. I have blanked out the main idea. Okay, 1 second, sorry. I don't know what in general, I don't know what it's about in general, sorry. So 3, 2, 1, just try and find me everything you can find. As many main ideas as possible. Start now. Okay, so that's what 30 seconds feels like. If you think you know the answer, there's kind of more than one here. So type in what you think it should be. And then you've got a bit more time. Got 5 more seconds if you're not sure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so a lot of you are saying policy or rules. Do we all agree that the main idea here is pharmacy? That's easy, right? Why is that so easy?
Repeat it. So every single first line.
So probably in OET, that would probably be that all texts would be pharmacy, wouldn't they? Right? Like for example, right? So let's imagine that doesn't help me. What is more specific than that? What is the main idea? Let me ask Wise, because he's been very good with this.
Yeah, maybe you can say advice, guidelines, policy, something like that.
Yeah, advice, guidelines, policy. What do we think? That's the function. It's kind of like advice. Anything else? Does anyone pick up anything else? It is, when you say advice, what's the language for that? I think that's a good function. Why? What language?
Should
Be, must ensure, can
Must.
refuse.
And refuse.
So these can be recommendations.
Providing the service.
Provide
Okay, so if you write down pharmacy and advice, that would be a good main idea finding or function, right? Maybe I should just put them together. Is there anything else? Some people, you guys are saying,
But
boom.
Alan, you already have advice, I think, in C.
What do you mean? This is just
we choose C advice, I think. Heading for C was advice, I think.
Another topic, Farouk, it's another topic.
When you say C, do you mean the previous one? What do you?
Yeah.
These are
Can
just
these be the
random
recommendations?
examples, Farak. This is not C or B or A. But yeah, if it was the same, Farak, what does that mean, guys, if we have two texts with the same main ideas?
Confusing.
You guys need to think, okay, these two texts are about the same thing. I need to find a way to
differentiate.
And without that, every time I get a question about that topic, I'm going to lose time. So how can we differentiate if it's the same two texts are about, for example, advice? What should we do?
Function.
You can go for function is one way. You can look at keywords. That's why we use keywords and we underline those. I'll talk about that tomorrow. Maybe you can look for, be more specific, advice, like what? You know what I mean? Try and find something in the exam because it's going to help you to get the answer. Now, does anyone else have, there's one more thing that this is about. I wonder if this is the most.
Service. I found many times.
Oh, service.
Yes.
Service says why. So repeated words.
Yes. Service.
Now, what does that mean, service? Because there's another main idea here it's connected to service, but it's not service. Can anyone see the third main idea here? It's connected to service. Service how? Service what?
Service testing.
Service.
Here.
Like a job.
Improve the service.
It's not improving. You're in the right way, guys. Let me show you. Go on.
Providing
the service.
Support or job.
Providing
that.
Is very good.
Providing, yeah.
Look at this. Availability.
Service ability.
That was very hard. Don't worry. It won't be like that in OET, but interesting, right? Someone was saying providing. That's very close. Providing, available. Who said providing? Good. As in, like, I might provide it or I might not provide it, right? Availability. Okay, so look, I'm going to finish here. Let's just quickly review, because tomorrow we're going to do a mock test. All right. Tomorrow, at the start of the class, I'm going to show you 4 texts. All right. But these will be real text tomorrow, real OET texts. And you guys are going to tell me what the main idea is. And you're going to do it either within 10 seconds or within 45 seconds. All right. One more time. How do we get the main idea? What are the 3 ways? Everyone. First
line. Repeated.
Thematic. And Gabriella, what is a thematic? What is thematic?
In the same category.
Same category. Guys, which is the best? First line, repeated, or thematic? Which is the best one?
It depends on the text.
Depends
on the text, exactly. Depends on the text. So should we just use only one of them? No, use all 3. And just do your best. And don't worry if it's like, is this recommendation or advice? Those things are so close together, it doesn't really matter, right? So long as it's different from the other texts. That's all you need. Okay, so I'm going to finish there. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. We'll do a test. Thanks for your time today, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Goodbye, sir.